So I had a union job, a very safe job, and I was making $70,000 a year with a guaranteed six-figure income within 5 years. But as soon as I learned this fact about money, I decided to quit that job entirely, and today I'm going to teach that to you.
So this young man quit a job that was paying him $70,000 per annum because he learned something about money. Now I want us to look at the video together so that I can give you my honest review if this is worth it or not.
And what I'm going to show you today is the most important lesson on money that I have ever learned. I did not learn it until I was well past the days of being in high school or being in college, and it's too bad that you don't learn this in high school because it would have dramatically changed the decisions I made up until that point. Now luckily I did learn about this when I was about 20 years old, and so I had a lot of time to adjust my sales and do something drastically different with my life. But I want to show you guys this rule or this lesson today, and I hope that this sparks something in your brain and makes you decide to also change your sales and consider doing something else other than what everyone else out there is doing in terms of going out there, getting a job, working at 9 to 5. And I want to explain that to you guys now. So first of all, I want to ask you if this formula here looks familiar to you. It goes something along the lines of this. You earn a certain dollar amount per hour times 40 hours a week, and at the end of the week you get a paycheck. I want to ask you guys, where did you learn this formula? Was this from your parents? Did you learn this in school? Or where did you learn about this simple concept that dollar amount times time equals paycheck? I'll share my experience with you. I learned this from my parents when I was 12 years old, and I decided to start a business doing some lawn mowing and landscaping for my neighbors. And I was asking my dad, so how do I do this? He says, well, you have to figure out what you're willing to work for per hour, and then you're going to work a certain number of hours, and then you make your money at the end of the week or end of the day, depending on the job. So I told myself my time was worth $10 an hour, and I would work for 4 hours on a Saturday, and I would make $40, and as a 12-year-old, I was pretty happy. But that was the very first time in my life that I instilled this in my brain, that time equals money. So let's say that I decided to take that landscaping or lawn mowing job or business I had started and run with it, and I decided that I wanted to work 40 hours a week at that job. I'd say I did that through all of my teenage years, and I made $10 an hour. So following the basic equation that you work a 40-hour work week and you work for $10 an hour, that means I would make $400 per week. Now let's say that I didn't have enough money, I wasn't making enough money, and I wanted to make more money. So if you're unhappy with the amount of money you're making, you basically have two options here, because there's two variables that control your paycheck. First of all, that is the time, the amount of time you're spending actually working. And second of all, it's going to be the skill, which is going to determine the hourly rate at which you are paid. So if you're looking to make more money, there are primarily three different things you can do, and I call this the bad solution, the better solution, and the good solution. So first of all, let's start with the bad solution. The bad solution is to start working more hours and sacrifice more of your time in order to make more money. In my opinion, this is completely ludicrous. I would never want to work more than 40 hours a week, and why people do this is absolutely beyond me. But I'll share my personal experience here. I used to work at a job where I was surrounded by people who would brag about the amount of money they were making, but they weren't bragging in terms of, oh, I went home and I started my own passive income business online, or I'm doing drop shipping and I'm making $2,000 a month. They were bragging about the fact that they were sacrificing their nights and their weekends and sacrificing their family's happiness in order to spend more hours working at that job. And if you ask me, that is nothing to brag about. But that is what these people did. They sacrificed their time in order to make more money, and that's a very bad solution to this problem. I'm talking about people that would work 70, 80, even 90 hours a week to make $150,000 a year. And it's just, why would you even bother doing that? Why would you sacrifice your time to make more money? Anyways, that's the bad solution to this problem. The better solution is to learn a more valuable skill. So if you're making $10, $15, maybe $20 an hour, and you're saying, I want to make more money, then you go out there and you learn a more valuable skill. Maybe you go to college, maybe you go take an online course and you learn how to do online marketing, something like that. Whatever it is, you're learning a more valuable skill, which is going to increase the rate at which someone will pay you for 1 hour of your work. But the best solution has nothing to do with this formula at all. In fact, the best solution is to follow a different model. And the thing is, so few people understand the fact that there's a different model out there when it comes to making money. Because what this tells us here is that time is always a variable in the amount of money that you are making. You either have to sacrifice more of your time or figure out how to make more money per hour that you are working, but you can make money in ways that do not involve your time. So when I was 20 years old, I started exploring different ways to make money. I read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I read a book called Click Millionaires, all about how people became millionaires off of the internet. And I started thinking about the type of income I was earning. And that's when I learned that I was earning something called active income. And what that meant is I only made money when I was actively working. So for those 8 hours a day, I would make money, but on the weekends and on the off hours, I made absolutely $0. And the major flaw with active income is that your time is always involved with this type of income. That is when I started to learn about something called passive income. And I know people right now are going to say, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, I know what passive income is, but have you ever really thought about it? Have you ever really thought about the fact that you can put in effort today and build something that will pay you every single month, every single week, or even every single day for the rest of your life? But so few people are actually willing to put in that initial work today to build a passive income stream. But I told myself I was willing to put in that effort and do whatever it takes to earn passive income and get out of this trap of earning active income. So let me explain it to you this way. Passive income is very simple. You're earning money off of your past effort. So your past effort determines your paycheck. Now, I've always enjoyed making videos and talking to people and learning and exploring new ideas, so I decided that a YouTube channel would be a good way for me to make passive income. It makes sense. I'm making money off of videos I've done previously. I make money from ad revenue. It results in sales for my membership site and my course as well, and all of that is based on my past effort. My course that I put together that I still make money from is one that I made many months ago, but I still make money because I'm being paid for my past effort. That is what passive income is. Now, how passive is my business? I want to answer that question very simply, and here's how I answered this. I took a look at just the ad revenue from my YouTube channel, and I decided to split up the percentage of the amount of revenue I've made in the last 7 days and what percentage of that came from the videos I posted that week versus ones I posted previously. And what I found is that 17% of my ad revenue came from the videos I had posted that week, and 83% of my income came from my past effort, the past videos that I've posted that continue to get the views. If that doesn't motivate you and get you excited, I have no idea what will, guys. I just want you to understand there's a lot of different ways out there that you can make money, and a lot of them involve the internet. And if you have any thought in your mind that you have the idea of starting a blog or starting a YouTube channel or starting a podcast or anything like that, just fucking do it, all right? I know it took me a long time to really start doing this, but there's so many opportunities out there, and this is such a new area as far as building a channel and building an audience online and personal branding and all of this and being an influencer and sharing your message with people. And I know there's always the argument of, oh, is it too late to start on YouTube? Well, if I told myself it was too late back in 2016, I wouldn't have a six-figure online business right now. So to answer the question of is it too late, it's never too late until the platform is shutting down. If you logged on tomorrow and YouTube had a message on the homepage that said YouTube is closing, we're shutting down forever, okay, maybe it's too late now, but until that day comes, it's never too late to start something. It's never too late to start earning passive income online. And I know the excuse that some of you are going to give me right now is the fact that not everyone out there can start a YouTube channel, because if everyone has a YouTube channel, nobody will have the time to watch it. But what I want to ask you is, how many people do you think are actually even watching a video right now about how to make more money? Because last time I checked, about 90 to 95% of the people out there are asleep in life. They don't have any idea what's going on around them. They have no idea they can make money in other ways. They're on autopilot going through life. Now, of those small amount of people that decide they want to learn how to make more money, what percentage are actually going to commit and put that effort in and decide they're going to commit to making money online and actually see it through? We're talking about a fraction of 1% at the end of the day as far as people who actually watch a video like this, take action on that advice, and stick with it. And so for those of you that say not everyone is going to be able to have a YouTube channel or build a following, not everyone is willing to do it. A very, very small percentage of people out there, a fraction of a percent, are actually willing to do what it takes and build an audience online and earn passive income. So that is the lesson that I had learned. I learned it when I was 20 years old. I learned about the difference between active income and passive income, and I decided that passive income was a much better model, and I structured my life around earning passive income, and I recommend that you guys consider doing the same thing. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. If you guys
let's stop it right here. Thank you very much for your advice. Okay, that's enough. Thank you. Now let's analyze this video and see how it can be beneficial to you and to myself. I'm going to be really fast. Now there are two major points in these videos, which is passive income and active income. Which is better? And we all know that passive income is the best, is what everyone advocates for, because it gives you freedom. You don't need to be there to actually earn money. Okay, so now let's start with what he was earning before he quit it. Okay, he was earning about $70,000 per annum. That is, in 12 months he was earning about $70,000. That's equivalent to about $5,800, or closing down on $6,000 per month. My brother, my sister, if you're actually earning about $5,800 per month and you intend starting a YouTube channel or starting a passive income or whatever, please, this is no time for you to quit your job. Go on with your job. Because $70,000 is a lot of money for people who don't even have a job. Okay, now passive income is very good, and I advise and I advocate for it well enough. But if you have a job right now that is paying you as much as even $50,000 per annum, please hold on to it. But while you hold on to that job, you start making plans on how to properly start your own business, passive income business. It may be YouTube channels, it may be an X handle, it may be something else. Okay, but my best recommendation, as I've always recommended for people, is that document your business processes, document what you do on YouTube channel. On the long run, it's going to pay you really well. Y'all know I'm a very good forex trader. Now I'm going to pin some of my live trade videos. Now, as a student, I was earning in a good month about $2,500 per month in forex. But I realized something. If I don't click a button, if I don't make a trade, I don't earn money. So then I looked forward to other means of earning money, and that's where I got into the partnership program on the forex platform I was operating with, and the use of robot and other opportunities that was earning me an extra $600 to $1,000 per month. In fact, the partnership alone was earning me close to about $4,000 per month, per year, per annum. $4,000 per annum, $4,000 to $5,000 per annum. Partnership, I didn't need to do anything, just partnership alone. That's what some of you call the affiliate. Then I was looking for more ways to earn. Then I realized that YouTube actually pays, and I started making video. When I got my first paycheck from YouTube, it was very small compared to what I've actually gotten from forex. I think that was like about, in fact, in cumulatively in 2 months, it was like about $1,000. So small compared to what I've earned or what I was currently earning. But I realized something struck me, that this money was earned from what I've done in the past, and I didn't even need to make too much effort to earn that same amount of money. And I was like, wow, what if I put in so much effort and then create more of better videos, and then double this, triple this, or make it as compound it as much as possible. That was when I started focusing on creating content, creating videos. Of course, it diverted my attention from my trading, I was no longer trading every single day. I was now trading once in a week, or sometimes thrice or twice in a month, because I was busy trying to build another income route. So you see, right now, all I can say is that I'm grateful for that day I found out, or I started a YouTube channel, because right now I could still trade my forex, and then I'm earning big time from somewhere else. So if you are starting a YouTube channel and you already have a job, you could always make video in the night, or you could set out 1 or 2 hours out of your time, or you can set out 1 or 2 hours to make video. You don't need to even quit your job. I know people that makes video in the night when they come, bankers that make videos in the night when they come back from work, just YouTube videos, and then they eventually quitted the job after their YouTube channels has tripled their income. That's when they quitted their job. Now, because when you're starting the YouTube channels, you need internet connection. You need to pay heavily for that, especially now that the entire there is an economic crisis in the world. You need to pay heavily for internet. Now you also need to pay for some gadgets and some stuff like that, but you don't need to start with heavy equipment. But I'm just telling you about the basic things that you need to get started with. So for those that don't have a job or don't have anything doing at all, while you are building your YouTube channels, I recommend you get a job. But if you've laid out a plan and strategy, and you're very sure that you're going to follow this through, and you're very sure of the outcome, then you go all in. Okay? But I still recommend you have some extra source of income somewhere, so that you don't put in too much pressure on your YouTube channel, thereby doing the wrong thing. And I'm talking to you from experience. So why his advice is valid? His advice is very much valid, but I don't recommend stopping your work, your job, what you are doing, unless your channels can pay you some money. Okay, so but if it's this is not just about YouTube channel. If you are starting a side business apart from a YouTube channel that is not flexible with time, then if you have enough investment and you've calculated yourself well enough to last for some months or some time before profits start rolling in, then you can quit your job. That's all I have to tell you. So thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe. See you in our next video.